And so looking to go aggression from the start.
And Jackson's out there. Cole Travis. They've got, looks like Marino out there as well for the speed factor. He'll either get the quaffle, and once he gains possession of the quaffle, he will sub out of the game, thus allowing Augie or Josh to come in. I'm assuming Augie will enter the game.
Yeah, those quick subs are very important in Quidditch.
Especially if you do get possession of the quaffle. Last time he did not.
We got a broom sub, and it looks like, can't see the quaffle, but
Marino got beat on the chest there, so the quaffle will go to Martin. He'll pass it over, and it looks like that was a goal. No, it was not. Should have just let it drop on that one or just tipped it in.
Yeah, Indianapolis started this game without the quaffle, and they quickly lost their bludger. But Texas, however, unable to score on that no bludger possession.
Yeah, and now they've got their best shooter with the quaffle in his hand, Andrew Axtell. He's making his run around the perimeter. Becca DuPont forcing him off, and Cole Travis backing him up in a nice beat right as the quaffle arrived on Nick Kaufman, keeper for the Intensity. Now a pass over to Moreno. He's got Bermudez wide open, and Kaufman for the block. Bermudez gets a second shot at it, misses that one. Will the Outlaws get there to reset their offense? The shot will not count as a reset. Simone Aaron's out there as well for the Outlaws, so he'll help out a little bit.
Looks like we're going to have Simone taking up the quaffle. Augustine Monroe takes the field.
Simone faking that pass over to the left-hand side. He'll get it to Augie. No surprise there. Cole Travis directly in front of Augie. Getting ready for this beater exchange with Jeremy Hoffman and the madness that will ensue. He beats the point chaser, and the pass is made to the right-hand side. Martin looking for Augie. As soon as he draws that beat, he does not. Hoffman very particular about who's going to get beat by him.
Looks like Indy has two chasers at the
Cole is beat, sorry.
Ooh, Augustine Monroe.
And Axtell trying to reach into Augie's grip there and pop the quaffle out. Instead, he'll get passed up top to Simone. Augie to his left-hand side. Simone backing up. Now bludger control with Amanda Marsden and Cole Travis out here as well.
And I could watch Simone catch a ball all day. He just makes it look so easy.
He's very good when it comes to that kick-out drive, too. He draws the beat like no other. And I think he dropped his mouth guard there. Cole got a beat on the foot. Martin got a goal. 3 shots for him on this offensive possession for the Outlaws, and he finally gets one to go in.
Yeah, that was Martin Bermudez there, number 22, looking to make a quick sub off the field. Looks like we have number 17
That's
coming
Salinas
in.
coming in there. We saw him snitch a little bit. I'm sorry, we saw him seek a little bit in game number 1. Simone is going to get beat as the point chaser. Cole's going to take a beat as well. Amanda going to fake out on the throw, and there's a loose quaffle. Salinas can't get to it. Wait, Axtell's beat. This might be a run. Cole Travis is in front. Let's see if Salinas can finish. He'll take a shot on the shoulder.
Yeah, and when you strip that quaffle, when Indianapolis's only bludger is behind your team's hoops, you got to think that's going to be a score.
Right, and we talked about getting beat up top offensively. Worst case scenario for any offense. Beater battle continues as 3 bludgers are on the ground right now, so an opportunity Fitzgerald trying to take right now. He'll get his quaffle gripped, and he'll actually take the beat up top, and now they've got Simone with the catch and an easy score for the Outlaws.
So one of the problems there with those star beaters is Tyler Walker clearing the way behind Austin's hoops, but then Austin gets the quaffle and he's nowhere to be found.
Right. No possession to be had on that one, and getting caught up in the beater game is something that is very easy to happen, and it's very difficult to break your beaters of that habit. And typically in MLQ it doesn't happen, but sometimes when you have top tier competition, that gets suckered into certain plays like that.
Oh yeah, and if you have never beat before, you have to think about so many different things at once that for a second you just forget to double check where the quaffle is, and the other team has scored on you.
The Intensity retreating. Oh no, Axtell is beat, so the quaffle is loose. It's scooped up. Simone's in front of the mid-hoop over here, and a throw and a dodge. Caught in the air. Axtell for the tackle on that one. Great defense from the Intensity.
Yeah, and Abby Simmons made a bold move jumping into the air right there, into the into the arms of Indianapolis.
She was
keeper.
expecting Axtell to make that tackle, and she was going to jump over his extended arm. She was anticipating getting hit, didn't know she was going to get her shooting arm locked up in the process.
It looks like Jackson Johnson made a pretty long beat and gave away bludger control. Now let's see what Indianapolis can do with his advantage they have.
And he's going to
run
for him. Yeah,
no,
he got beat, and he didn't make the catch, so he's going to have to run back, touch the hoops. And in Indianapolis,
looks like we have some confusion. The goal is going to be called.
Yeah, they were
no
checking
good.
to see if that shot looked like, from our perspective, because we're on the side, it looked like it went in the mid-hoop, but it did not. 30-0, the Austin Outlaws leading early in this one. And the reason we're talking about getting caught up in this beater game for the Indianapolis intensity, it's a small microcosm of what snitch on pitch is like.
Oh,
the bludgers are
sure.
basically non-existent, and it becomes chaser on chaser, which most people who watch Major League Quidditch and have watched these teams and know these players assume favors the Austin Outlaws.
Yeah, and if you had to pick the difference between this game and last game, I think for sure the answer is they keep scoring on an open field.
Right.
And last game, Indianapolis was doing a great job at stopping that open field from occurring.
They were great at breaking down the transition runs because their beaters were always back to present some sort of threat. And also, they weren't taking these terrible beats up top, high position. Andrew Axtell got beat 15 feet in front of his own hoops.
Yeah, no, and you have to wonder what changed. Is it just the exhaustion, or did their close game get in their heads? Who knows? Either way, Austin is looking like they're not messing up the finishes that they've done in the past.
And a strong face beat on that one, and one from behind, and the beater game happening directly in front of the webcam right here.
Looks like we have a stoppage of play.
It may be extension of play beyond the soft boundary, or on the hard boundary.
Yeah, we'll have to see what's happening. These it's hard to stop it when the play gets near here, and these beaters like just throwing these balls because. You can't throw it soft because they're going to dodge it or catch it.
Exactly, and that's why we saw that face beat just a couple of seconds ago because she had her hands ready for that scoop on the throw, and that.
There's a lot of talk about face beats, but at the end of the day, it's one of the best ways to stop them from recovering the bludger.
And once again, the crowd loves it.
The crowd does love it. We have a bloodthirsty crowd here.
Yeah, I mean, kinda. Let's be honest here.
Let's see what Axtell can do. He's trying to run into two defenders in this. Yeah.
Talk about taking bad beats.
See, Axtell, usually renowned for his great strategic decision. I'm not sure what he was doing there.
Jackson misses on his beat up top, so he'll have to chase down one of those bludgers. And Simone with a brilliant shot. Never seen a shot dislodge a hoop like that before. It must have been quite a bit of force. And a timeout has been called.
That's a great timeout from Indianapolis. They need to stop this train wreck.
It's a very basketball-esque timeout. Somebody scores 5 straight points on you, and then you call the timeout.
Oh, yeah. If someone scores 5 straight points when you start the game and you don't call a timeout, you're doing something wrong.
And they're going to have to talk this one up. They're going to be on the pitch right now, and we could just talk about the path. The final 4 teams after day 1. We had the LA Guardians who won the West. We had, of course, the Boston Knight Riders came into this one as the early favorites and strong favorites, no doubt about that, looking to make history on the three-peat. And the Austin Outlaws looking to get a rematch against those Boston Knight Riders. Little did they know it was going to happen in the semis, not the final, after the random draw by Ethan Strom.
Yeah, and
we talk about the Indianapolis intensity. That's kind of what the storyline is. The other division champion. Out of those 4 teams that were in the Final Four, 1 loss between them, and it belongs to the Indianapolis intensity. But look who's here in the finals.
Yes, but you also have to look who that loss was to.
Right.
The League City Legends, who may have been, I think, maybe the toughest team that did not make the top 4.
Right. Many would say that statistically it kind of weighs itself out. They were the 4th highest scoring team coming into this tournament. And then you talk about the highest of the 3rd seeds, the New York Titans, coming in here. They were a team that was tied for 2nd, and their head-to-head matchup basically cost them the 2nd seed. So
yeah. And if you want to look at the Austin Outlaws and the Boston Knight Riders did not drop a game in this season.
Right.
However, Indianapolis and LA both had lost games to Rochester Whiteout and San Francisco, respectively.
And now a quick throw over here. It looks like Axtell's going to get caught up before he can complete his shot. So Simone's going to pick it up. He might have a run. He's got a beater in front.
So it looks like we have Jeremy Hoffman.
Oh, a nice catch!
But can he stop the quaffle?
No good. Wait, we got a conflicting call. Goal ref says no good. And our ref, who's closer to the situation on the left-hand side, says good. It looked like it floated in even after it was touched. But the player who touched it. I think it was Becca DuPont, and they're going to call it good. I was going to say she was beat, so they might have called it no good because she had touch on it, but who knows.
Yeah, we'll have to see, and that's really not what you want to see right after your timeout.
And the Outlaws had a situation where they were going to get on a pretty good run there. They had a beater back. The Intensity were in the right position, and Jackson was about to clear the path out, and you see the Intensity come up with a clutch catch, man. That was beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
That was Matt Brown out there, by the way, on the snag versus Jackson to break up that fast break run.
Oh, yeah, and then, you know, as we've said, this game is being snitched by Gabe, and with Indianapolis already being down 50 before even the 10-minute mark, things aren't looking great.
Nathan Digman opened up his own lane. He forced his defender to turn sideways, had a good run at the hoops, but elected to make a pass instead of finishing strong. And we saw this happen with the Boston Knight Riders. They're electing to take shots and make passes as opposed to going straight to the hoops, showing some of that toughness and finishing with a dunk by going straight to it, straight to where they need to go.
Oh, yeah. And one strategy you're seeing pulled out right now from Indianapolis Intensity that leaves them the goal is with one male and one female beater. Indianapolis tends to run 1.5.
Right.
When they have bludger control with 2 male beaters, they like to bring them up and be aggressive. But with one and one, you'll often see them bust out the old 1.5.
And
so we have a stoppage of play.
Sam Hemowitz in action here. He did not play in game number 1.
Oh, I did not notice.
Sam Hemowitz, the third leading scorer for the Austin Outlaws, did not play much during the regular season. Only played in one series versus the Legends, came into this one. He's a hard-hitting dude. You'll see it here in a couple of seconds. When he gets an opportunity to make a run, Digman going to talk to his sideline over there for a couple seconds.
Yeah, not... It looks like the score on the live stream was correct. The score is 60-10. We had a minor miscommunication with the score tent.
Ryan Naraki now entering the game along with Sam Hemowitz. Molly Lindsay coming up behind Hoffman, about to strip him, but Naraki beat. Molly's going to take a... No, she'll be called beat. And now pressure coming from the Intensity.
We have no bludgers for Austin Outlaws, as Indianapolis has both bludgers, and the third is by their own hoops.
That's a near perfect situation. Can't call guarding. But to get to the third bludger, they have to hold up the immunity fist, which basically, as soon as they touch it, goes away.
Oh, so. Yeah. And if we're talking about important goals, the biggest is, of course, the difference between 40 and 30. But the difference between a 50-point game and a 40-point game is a very big one.
Yeah. A 50-point game is you needing, like, you've got to put points on the board. That's when your offense gets some pressure put on it. That's when you got to make the magic happen. 40 is more of it's more stopping the back and forth.
Yeah. If you're down 40 with the quaffle, you're not in the worst situation. Looks like we have a card on blue beater number 9, Molly Lensing, for illegal contact from the back.
Molly Lensing ran into the back of Jeremy Hoffman. She was trying to, I guess, get a combo up with Naraki to get the exchange to go, and hopefully Naraki would get him beat, and Hoffman did not get touched by the bludger. Instead, he was beat. She came up behind him, was trying to come from the side to strip out the bludger, and instead she just ran into Hoffman's back.
Yeah, and now Indianapolis with both bludgers, and Austin with the beater in the box. And that's, of course, going to be that easy goal, but now Lensing's out, and now let's see if Austin can take back bludger control and put this game back where they want it.
We got a hoop down. Sam Hemowitz getting his first touch at keeper on an offensive possession. He's got Martin Bermudez out there, a pretty good guy to have as your left winger when you're talking about chasers. Naraki's exchange, he won it up top. I'm sorry, he beat the point chaser for the Intensity. Now trying to engage with Hoffman, at the very least distract him. Hoffman tried to throw a two-handed one. He gets it deflected. Molly picks up Hoffman's bludger, and a score from Hemowitz, and he goes airborne.
Yeah, and it's a good answer from the Austin Outlaws.
Oh, and a good swat when nobody was looking. He thought he was going to get away with one there. That's Crystal Jones getting her bludger swat, but she will recover it.
It looks like she's subbing out for, I think that's Erin Moreno, number 41.
Almost at the 10-minute mark. Almost at the 10-minute mark here. We're at 8:37. That'll make us halfway to snitch on pitch.
Yeah, Erin Moreno with the bludger. Looks like we have advantage. Maybe a free play for Indianapolis, or Let's see what they can do.
And they take down Digman. Can they take down Higbee? He'll get the ball. He'll get the quaffle pass off, and then it'll be swatted away from him by Cami Lang, the intended receiver. She'll have to recover, and it looks like she is down and hurt.
Yeah, and we saw some great man coverage from Austin's keeper there. He could not do anything. He was in his face, and he was not moving.
And that's Sam Hemowitz over there, and he's actually, they're going to reset, they're going to start this play up, and Cammie's going to shake off what we can only assume is a rolled ankle on her right foot.
Oh yeah, but so the important question is who on assuming Indianapolis starts with a quaffle, who on Indianapolis is going to start with it? If it goes to Lip, is Lip's a beater? I can't tell the color. But if it goes to someone near the hoops, that may be a free goal. Lips is one of their chasers. I'm not sure exactly where his broom is. Don't have the best angle, but
he's going over there to have a conversation about what's going to happen, because
there's a decently long
the proximity of the Outlaw chasers shows that they might be getting ready to go for a beat.
Looks like we have two blue cards, I think, coming in for the Austin Outlaws. Number 15 and number 33.
Yeah, that's Becca DuPont, female chaser for the Outlaws, and then that's Luke over there as well for the Outlaws, headed to the box. Ooh, that's a
now talk
look.
about a power play.
Yeah, no doubt about that. This could be the break the intensity need to get back into this one.
Now this poses an interesting question. If Indianapolis scores, who comes out of the box?
They get to pick, I believe, because it was a simultaneous penalty on both of them. Originally, if they had gone in at different times, it would be who was in the box most recently that would get to come out. But simultaneous, I believe they get to pick.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly. I've never been in that situation.
And they're both chasers, so in terms of the beater game, you can kind of pick who you want. You would imagine they would go with Luke because of his ability to score around the hoops most of the time, and then on top of that, he's got the good man-to-man defense. But Becca also extremely talented behind the hoops when it comes to scoring.
So I think you go for the defensive player, because if you're down two players, all you got to focus on is not getting scored on. So see if you get to pick one, you grab your defense back and just try to stall out the game.
Right. And the chances of the intensity getting a score on this one,
especially when you're in Austin's situation, up 50. Austin is perfectly content. If Austin could sit down and wait 2 minutes or 1 minute to get these players back, they would do so for sure.
I'd be surprised if I saw a bludger throw on this in terms of trying to get at the beaters or anything like that. You'd expect to see the extra chasers on the pitch come up and run on to the two chasers that are available to the Outlaws.
Yeah. And they're next to each other. He has no passing options.
They're probably going to try and slip it out. If somebody does get tackled, they're probably going to turn around and slip. You don't practice this situation. Nobody does this in practice.
But I think Austin's handling it perfectly. They're slow walking up the field, and Indianapolis either has to answer this or accept that there are two players coming back. And that's what they did.
Worst case scenario, Ryan Naraki just caught on a beat, and now the beaters are distracted. All three bludgers down on the pitch.
So if you're in Indianapolis' shoes there, you're in an interesting situation. You have bludger control, but they're down two chasers. You can go aggressive, try to score, but then they get a chaser back, and you may lose bludger control. Looks like Indianapolis is valuing this bludger control very highly.
And Ryan might be getting ready to pave the way for Martin Bermudez here. Tyler Walker still at his hoops. He does not have his ball. He's going to have to wait here or take one from Molly Lensing, and she's going to beat the point chaser. And, man, you got to be pretty impressed that this possession has lasted this long for the Austin Outlaws.
And they're not in a rush to change it, and I don't think they should be.
Everybody back at full strength here, and a nice pass to Bermudez. He sees the closing keeper on that play, and I believe it was Luke Lips out there, and he will get juked out there. Thought he was going to go for the center hoop, but instead elected to go through the front of the short hoop, which of course means that his team gets to get back and track back on defense. So.
Oh yeah.
And a big line change coming for the Indianapolis intensity. I see out there Nick Kaufman.
It's like Kaufman and Fitzgerald on the field.
Right. Now Kaufman driving. He's going to be met by Martin Bermudez. He's about to lose the quaffle. No, he's not, as Bermudez is going to be beat. He'll take a shot over the extended hands of two defenders, but it'll be scooped up and scored. And now Hamowitz is on a run. He's going to be tripped up, it looked like, on that play, but he'll get up and score.
You have to assume that was a legal tackle by how quickly that ref threw up his
I didn't
hand.
see an arm touch Hamowitz by the time. It might have been just a. I feel like that shouldn't have been a penalty, primarily because that's two people trying to play defense. It wasn't like he took his leg out and just tripped him up. It was him running in stride with Hamowitz trying to make contact with him, and their legs banged into each other.
Yeah.
But it also didn't help that he didn't fall down.
No, regardless of the outcome, there will be no penalty time served.
Right.
That was definitely not a red carded offense. So he'll
That
get
was
one
just
of the
somebody trying
yellows.
to make a defensive play.
And I don't think we've had any yellows stack up to get a red card this tournament, as the new MLQ rule changes where you need 3 yellows.
The Washington Admirals
Sorry,
almost
I
had a
mistaken.
situation.
Oh, okay.
Almost had a situation like that.
Yeah,
One of their
yeah,
chasers got her second yellow, and she mentioned it on her way to the box. She's like, one more until I get a red. In one of the consolation games today.
Looks like that was a good goal.
They got Nathan Digman at the chaser position as Kaufman is going to bring it up, and then he's got his left-hand side. Andrew Axtell.
So it looks like we got some slow pace picking up from Indy, but Austin doesn't want this.
Yeah, and Cole's going to prevent any behind the hoops action, and a nice
Oh.
throw, and it goes right into the hands of Luke. He's got a beater in front, no passes to make. Cole trying to help him out as much as he
it's a
can.
goal.
Wait, I think he just blocked the shot with the beat on that one, but the intensity going to scoop that one up.
Yeah, so we'll have to see what
and like
happens
you
there.
said, they want to push the base. Like, there's no question about it whatsoever. Cole saw an easy pass happen that was about 10 feet, and he ran over as quickly as he could, preventing behind the hoops and then turning it into a scramble. And most of the time, the scramble is going to come up the way of the Outlaws, it seems like today.
Yeah, so the Outlaws I think are doing an interesting thing with the pace of this game. I think on their offenses, they're typically slowing it up.
Right.
But they want Indy to go fast
Right.
so they can get that fast break.
Exactly. It's going to be a wrap from behind, according to our referee who just came over and said it.
So was that a card? Oh, it looks like a card on Sam Heimowitz.
And
We now have a number 22 taking over keeper, as you always have to have a keeper in play.
Yep, Martin Bermuda is going to take over. Becca DuPont out there, Cole Travis, Amanda Marsden as well. And I'm trying to see who that is. That is Luke out there for the Austin Outlaws. And intensity, I mean, probably their best line out here. We're talking about Nick Kaufman, Andrew Axtell, and it's Digman. Digman has been subbed out of this position, so Axtell back up top, going to spin away from Bermudez, who is a point chaser, playing way high with the keeper headband on.
Yeah, and we have noticeably Axtell has no support from his beaters. His beaters are focusing on the other team's beaters, but can they score anyway?
And a block behind the hoops. Bermudez going to run through. And I want to say that was Aaron Moreno again.
Yeah, Aaron Moreno seeing a lot of play time this series. She must be exhausted. But Austin
And just like that, Luke going to get away from contact. A UTSA graduate spins away from 2 tacklers, runs the perimeter until he can find an angle where he can release that and not feel like he's going to get blocked, and he makes it happen.
And that was another penalty that timed out for the Austin Outlaws. Sam Heimowitz back in the game, coming off in the minute, not from the early exit from the score.
If I told you the team that had at one point only 2 chasers on the pitch and 1 chaser and a keeper was the Outlaws, would you believe me?
And would you believe it if you told him that Indianapolis was unable to score during that time?
100-40, our current score. 14 minutes. 1 timeout does remain. The Outlaws have one.
The Outlaws look in dominant control of this game, but interesting to say, this game at one point was 40-0, I want to say, maybe 50-0.
Yeah.
Indianapolis had a very bad run at the beginning, but since then, they've managed to do okay.
I believe since that timeout, they allowed 1 goal, and then the other goal was from Martin Bermudez, and since then they've kind of locked it up just a little bit. But Augie Monroe back out onto the pitch for what seems like the first time in about 8-9 minutes or so.
It might have been since Austin was scoring a ton of points that Augie was on the field.
Trying to play it out and see how long they can hold on to this one in the intensity, actually getting some good offensive looks, and then finishing a little bit probably spurred him off of the bench.
Once again, we have 1.5 coming out with Jeremy Hoffman trying to lock up Jackson Johnson.
And a throw and miss on the part of number 23 for the intensity out there, and I believe
that is Blake Fitzgerald.
Yes, it is.
Looks like we have a coach from Indianapolis.
That's really strange from Blake. We've seen him as one of the few guys willing to run towards the hoops here today. So I don't know why take that shot from outside the keeper zone. Jeremy Hoffman back out there for the Indianapolis intensity.
There we see one of those great kick beats, but it looks like Indianapolis is able to grab this. Are they going to go for a run?
Oh, Fitzgerald on a run. He's got it
like
over.
No beat. Oh, one beater.
Andrew Axtell with the cutback middle shot on the small hoop. Gets it to hook in. Beautiful angle on that.
And that's why he is the goal leader for Indianapolis intensity right there.
As the wind begins to pick up, blowing from right to left, if you're looking at the pitch from above, right to left, the direction of the wind here today. 100 to 50, 16:20 to go.
Yeah.
Sorry, 16:20 elapsed.
Yeah, and so only a few minutes left for Austin to take their timeout if they want it. I'm not sure if they'll elect to.
And Peter De La Fuente out here. Don't really see him unless it's snitch on pitch time, so he's getting some time here against the intensity. He's a guy who loves to beat chasers. That's pretty much what it is. He does not get caught up in the beater game for the most part.
And if you have a beater that you know will do that, that's a valuable tool to any team.
Right. No doubt about that. And Simone, he's got a beater and a chaser coming towards him, so he'll be forced to use the one reset the Outlaws have.
So one of the few players able to seemingly catch as fluidly with his left and right hands, grabbing that ball out of the air.
And sometimes you just can't teach those kind of talents. Some people, they're palm catchers, and you'll see the quaffle bounce right out of their hands, and some people catch with the fingertips every single time.
Oh,
and we've seen them do it under duress and wide open. So
yeah, it's one of those things that whenever you're teaching new players, it's always two hands, but with some of these elite players, they really need that extra mobility.
You got to do what you got to do. And Jackson out here at the beater position, he will beat the lead chaser and Andrew Axtell.
Oh.
Cecilia Westbrook.
Looks like that goal was, I do not think it's through the hoop, so I'm wondering what the discussion is going on here.
Jeremy Hoffman was bent over a little bit there, maybe showing just a little bit of fatigue for a guy who's been playing most of this tournament, and not only that, most of this series that we've seen so far.
Yeah, he has been putting in major minutes in these games. It seems like Tyler Walker has sort of been quiet for a little bit of this game, but he also had some, I think this game, Hoffman was looking like the best beater on intensity.
Right, no doubt about that. And then in snitch on pitch, we saw Tyler Walker really create a lot of that havoc that allowed for bludger control to exchange that made it difficult for the Seekers. So
yeah, a lot of times with these chasers turned beaters, they just have this raw aggression that they channel in interesting ways.
Mostly through the ball going to your face.
Typically through the ball into your face, but other times it's cross-field tackles.
Cross-field tackle. That's our third illegal SWAT call, but this one was a blue. The last time we saw an illegal SWAT, it was on two of the Outlaw players, and I believe they're going to call this one on Indianapolis intensity Cecilia Westbrook, who's going to head over to the penalty box. Outlaws on a run here.
Looks like Hoffman's going to grab the bludger. Can he beat him in time? Oh! Now you have to wonder, did he duck to grab that quaffle, or did he know that bludger was coming?
That's just a little bit of luck. Sometimes you got to have some, even if it's in a championship game.
Yeah, no, that luck will always help.
As we sit here in game number 2, 2 minutes until this one could be flipped on its head. This game could easily turn sideways for the Outlaws if the intensity can bring the intensity and snitch on pitch play, because that is going to be their last ditch effort to get back into this game and then ultimately back in this series.
So I would normally say that Austin is the better snitch on pitch team, but this snitch on pitch may be the break Indianapolis needs to take over this game. They just need some momentum shift.
Right.
And changing the game in its entirety is one of the biggest ones you can get.
And snitch on pitch is most games would love to have something as dynamic as snitch on pitch to really flip the game on its head, because we've seen extremely dominant teams shut down by teams that have nowhere near as much talent as them because
Oh,
of
yeah.
snitch on pitch and the delicate art of playing that just right to make it so your team wins on a snitch grab.
Oh yeah, I've seen games go up when one snitch comes on pitch, the one team's up 40. By the end of snitch on pitch, the other team's up 40.
Right.
And this is going to be an interesting dynamic. It looks like we have a female seeker coming out for Indianapolis and Craig Garrison coming out for Austin.
And this goes back to the theory we were talking about before the game started, 110 to 50, a situation where all of your focus has to be on scoring. Even if you don't end up taking the lead, getting it back within snitch range is going to be primary to start off the snitch on pitch situation. And it is passed.
That is a beautiful goal from the Austin Outlaws, bringing this up to 70 in the mere seconds before the snitch comes off the pitch for what may be the last time of the MLQ season.
And we mentioned the theory going into this one. Indianapolis sending out a female seeker. Of course, the Outlaws going to send out their starting seeker here. And we've seen this also in game number 1, a constant rotation, trying to stay as fresh as possible. You get a couple of attempts, you get a couple of minutes, and then you come out. So somebody else with fresh legs and fresh arms, because Gabe is going to be that kind of guy.
Yeah, it's good to think of seeker subs as hockey, where you just want your players constantly rotating in and out of the game.
I'm also hoping they have a trophy somewhere for Gabe. In case it does go 40 minutes, does he get the Benefit Cup if it goes 40 minutes?
I do not think he gets the Benefit Cup, but
man.
Something would be pretty great.
The cup slightly to our right-hand side over here, by the way.
They cannot see it.
I'm just saying, off camera.
Okay.
Slightly to our right-hand side over here. Nice shiny medals to go along with it, too.
Yeah, first and second place medals.
Oh, nice block by Tyler Walker and a spin move away from Jackson to get him off broom.
Looks like we have a seeker sub for Austin, Molly Lindsay. Now, in previous games, when we have 2 female seekers, you sometimes see them give up. But Molly Lensing is pure aggression right now. All she wants is to catch Gabe.
Molly Lensing, a big fitness fanatic. If you follow her on Instagram, she does protein bar reviews for the most part because she's just that dedicated to the craft. And Gabe doing the right thing, getting Molly away far away from me as possible. Because, like, if we had a person we could call Honey Badger, it would be Molly. And the hair definitely indicates that.
Yeah, Molly Lindsay, one of the veterans of the scene.
Formerly of Silver Phoenix.
As long as I can remember.
Right. Molly Lindsay trying to go for the win. So she's got to fight off 3 pairs of hands, one pair of hands and 3 hands in total. She's trying to get away from the intensities seeker that they have out there, number 11, Mary Owen. And then get to Gabe. So that's always that's never fun.
No.
Now she's got front position, trying to break the hands.
Getting past a defensive seeker is one of the hardest things you can do in Quidditch. Defensive seeker and the snitch, such a low percentage play.
Right.
You gotta try.
And if you ever need somebody to try, Molly's the one to send out there. Like we said before, come back after injury at certain points. Torn her ACL, broke her hand last season, and just cannot be stopped.
No. And as you can see her out on this field, she is not being stopped.
And
put up significant minutes in the beater game, and now is going very hard on the snitch.
De La Fuente with a beat up top. Oh man, intensity almost had an easy alley-oop on that one. And they're about to call advantage, and the intensity are about to be down to Chaser after a reach over the neck.
Although it looks like
I saw the hand up for advantage, but I guess they're not going to call it.
Looks like there's the refs are making no calls.
Gabe is about to get his mouth guard in. Forgot it over on the bleachers.
So Augustine Monroe with the quaffle. I wonder how he's going to approach the rest of this game as he leads on his team.
As Jeremy Hoffman is going to force him back, actually beat Augie. Let's see if he runs over and tries to get. He will not.
And that is the one reset the Austin Outlaw has for this possession.
Riding the Rocky out there. Bailey shaking hands. Bailey Fields out there shaking hands with Gabe.
And mainly, I think, trying to stop Gabe from grabbing her broom.
Right. That's an interesting tactic. I wonder if it'll work out for her.
Oh, she is holding on.
Actually using her as a blocker.
Taking a bold strategy here, putting a on-the-ground seeker in the way of him and Austin's seeker.
And tied up.
However, Emily
Westbrook will survive.
On broom that entire time.
Westbrook survives the onslaught. Augie Monroe got 2 guys in front of him right now. Looks like one of them is Herring out there. It's
Looks like Fiebig.
Yeah. Don't know why I said Herring. That's weird. Fiebig.
All good.
We haven't seen him in quite a while as well. He was out there when the Intensity had their good momentum run, but that was short-lived. And so now a tipped pass almost scooped out. Augie's going to be beat on his shoulder. And oh, wow, a turnover. The Intensity on a run here. A beautiful beat from De La Fuente.
So we talk about, do you drive it in or do you shoot? And that's one time he drove it in, but he should have shot.
And talk about timing. He was about 2 seconds. I'm sorry.
It's a good recovery from Austin.
He was about 2 seconds away from having two chasers turn around and be on defense on him, so can't blame him. And then also I've been complaining about how the Intensity haven't been finishing at the hoops. They've shown great shooting ability this entire game, but...
Yeah, and finishing at the hoops is one of the biggest things that takes a good team and turns into a great team.
And the one time they try to finish at the hoops, they get beat. Sorry, that's on me.
Yeah.
I'll let the pros handle it. I'll stick to talking about the game.
It looks like Austin is looking to make a aggressive move in a few seconds. Let's see how they take this. Ooh,
oh, a nice catch up top. Bermudez threw that one outside, and that one might be, no, it will not be. Hard boundary to be scooped up, and it looks like Luke is going to be on a run here. Back up top, Bermudez is going to have it. No chasers behind the hoops just yet. Now there is one. De La Fuente going to miss on his beat, I believe it did. Yes, he did.
Just got some good old triangle passing coming out of Austin here as they just keep the ball moving, playing some, make an Indianapolis run.
Once again. And
Mike, you want to come, dude?
Martin Bermudez back up top. He's going to get it over to Luke. Luke driving middle, going to make that pass. Oh, man, across his body, scores on the left hoop. Thought it was called good. Didn't hear the whistle go. Across the body shot on him. And now we've got, coming up the pitch, Andrew Axtell. He's got Martin Bermudez in front of him, and he's going to get away from him. A beautiful screen from the Intensity and a shot on the hoops. Oh, no, it was a pass that goes slightly awry and goes wide of the hoops, and it will be a turnover for the Intensity. They'll have to get back on defense down by 60. And the constant battle and the battle for the Outlaws. Sorry, the battle for the Intensity to get back into this game, because currently snitch on pitch is not going to help them. So that's Marino out there with passing over to Bermudez. He's going to get a look, and directly in front of him is going to be chaser Max Jolly. He's going to force a pass cross pitch, and if anything, the Austin Outlaws are going to make the Intensity work, ladies and gentlemen. They're going to make them run and force this defense to rotate to them, because it is basically man-on-man because of the snitch-on-pitch situation. The beater's distracted by the seeker, and Tyler Walker's going to get beat on his heels. Bermudez is going to make a pass while he's being tackled. Marino is going to have to not only tip it away from a defender, but bounce it back up to himself, almost taken away by the Intensity and gone in transition. Cross-pitch pass to Josh Andrews. If you've ever watched basketball, this is called the four corners technique, where players will stand in the four corners, wait till the defense rotates to them, and then make the pass across the pitch, because they need the defense to run. They also need to not be called for delay of game. And because of Quidditch being engaged, Quidditch being a full contact sport, you can also be tackled and taken down completely. On the drive, Bermudez is going to have the quaffle poked out while a tackle's still going on him, but Marino's going to scoop it up. Andrews is pretty close to that left side hoop, but electing not to score. The Austin Outlaws, a team known for their scoring, electing to hold back.
Yeah, they do not have any reason to keep going in this game. They want to keep themselves fresh.
Right.
The worst thing that can happen is they tire themselves out and Indianapolis can start scoring.
And that's
they just
28:30 on the game time. 28:30, the unofficial clock just slightly off, just about 3 seconds. 28:30 on the game time. Cole Travis back into the game. Now Marino's got possession of the quaffle. A quick pass from him over to Andrews. Somebody who's got a better secure grip on it. And we're going to see the Outlaws do this until the Indianapolis Intensity can force them not to. So that means somebody's got to hit somebody. or the beaters have got to come off the snitch.
Yeah, and Austin taking their time, moving over when it's convenient, clearing out the defensive seeker, but I feel like some ring around the rosy coming out from the snitch seeker play.
And Melissa Magic over there playing beater, and the oh, that's an interesting question. Quaffle deflects off Gabe into the back pitch, does not count as a reset, I'm assuming. It was propelled by a player who doesn't belong to either team. A bludger is thrown off the pitch over here. Tyler Walker is loose, and now the Outlaws have pulled off a score there.
Ooh, so you see that throw there. It looks like it's getting taken by the wind. We got some pretty powerful gusts coming out here.
And it's definitely picking up as this game has gone on, much to the desire of the crowd, as it will cool them down, not to the players out there, because a quaffle can very easily be taken by the wind.
Oh, of course, especially when you get those high throws that just has so much time.
It seems like the higher you throw it, the sharper the wind takes it most of the time. So.
Oh yeah. Some
guys know that they can manipulate it a little bit. For the most part, it just ends up making you miss shots.
Yeah, the longer it's in the air and the further it goes up, the more the wind's going to take it. So those line drive passes become even more valuable.
And these long passes that the Austin Outlaws have to make on their form of offense in terms of killing the clock, in terms of making that rotation happen, going to be a little bit more difficult for them. So.
Oh, yeah.
Gabe hanging out at the mid-pitch line.
So as we just crossed the 30-minute mark, we got a bit over 9 minutes, 9.5 minutes left in this game. We'll see if Gabe can last, or if Indy, at this point, I think you can say needs a miracle, as they're going to need to score 4 goals and pull Gabe.
And also Gabe will, I mean, are we giving Gabe wins? Are we giving any snitch wins if they get the full minutes elapsed? Because that means that Gabe has got like 5 this season.
Gabe has quite a few.
And intensity, break the scoring drought. 130-70 now the score, and a whistle blown.
So we'll have to see what the so on Gabe showing the crowd some love, waving to all of his fans.
As this play continues here, the intensity find themselves in a very dire situation.
Oh yeah.
You have to have a big focus on scoring as many goals as possible, and I mean, you could say it when the Outlaws had two chasers on the pitch. That was a prime opportunity. Thought it was going to be a chance for the intensity to get some scores, and you know what? It seems like they've come up with the more difficult shots to make, the more difficult plays to make here today. It's just some of the passes that are happening because they're happening so quick, or people are under duress, and it comes down to defensive contact. A lot of the tackling from the Outlaws is really what's disrupting a lot of these shots. Oh,
for sure. And the Outlaws are one of the best teams in Quidditch at making those hits.
Right. And Gabe trying to pull 2 brooms at once, I'm assuming.
Sort of unsure what's happening now, because looks like we have a penalty for leaving the hard boundary without permission of the referee. Card I rarely see, but card is negated by the goal.
Right.
So we'll have to see what happens.
And there's got to come a point where it seems like the Outlaws are more than content to sit here with their extra male chaser on the pitch because of using a female seeker, and let this one fully expand out and it laps all the way through to the end of what will be, or what could be, the end of the MLQ season here, unless the intensity can pull a rabbit out of their hat of some sort, or some points.
Yeah, so one interesting thing to note is with their female seeker, Indianapolis has elected to run an all-male quaffle line.
And poked out by Augie, and a dive for the quaffle.
Axel recovers, great pass.
Yeah, Kaufman for the pass at the hoops, and a tackle, a locked-up tackle on that one. Hard hit, but worth it as the intensity score yet another goal, making it 130-80. Creeping up there just a little bit. They'll need a stop.
Oh, yeah, and intensity is a mountain to climb, but they started it. With those 2 goals, I think the team's momentum starts building. You got that energy, and you believe in yourself then. that could take you far.
And also, it seems like the Intensity have a read on what's going to happen from the Outlaws offense, so they might have to go back to a traditional set and actually go for this pull, because if the Intensity can get the read on the pass, they can just keep picking it off. Whether they score on those possessions or not is to be determined, but more opportunities is what the Intensity need.
Yeah, but
time is their enemy.
Time is their enemy. There are only 6.5 minutes left in this game, and I'm not sure if that's enough for Intensity to get back in it.
And Simone Aaron's coming across. And
he
will slip down. No bludger help on that one because of an exchange up top. Good timing on that engagement. Jeremy Hoffman for the fake throw over there. Now down to Chaser and no ability to retreat. Augie's going to be beat on his heel. And the Intensity, a quick kick from the Austin Outlaws, and that quaffle goes near the hard boundary, but it's scooped up, and the Intensity are back to work here. Hemowitz out there at the Chaser position.
Yeah, taking out the keepers and chasers can often become interchangeable in these games.
Right. Hemowitz is going to take that beat on the far side over here. Jackson's going to take a beat as well, and they're just going to walk them down. Time is not their friend right now, but the Intensity have to make these possessions count.
No, time is not their friend, but if they try to play that fast-paced game, that's exactly what Austin wants.
And we saw a shot go between the bit. Nathan Digman upset on what appeared to be a goal on the mid-hoop on the far right-hand side. It actually moved the goal. Couldn't tell if it actually moved it from going past the inside portion of it or the outside portion. The crowd seems to think it went through the hoops. But the
goal, the refs on the field with the closer vision.
Right. Yes, because they are behind us.
Yeah, we are blocking their view as well. Looks like Austin's got a good grapple going on with the snitch. We'll see how Indy responds.
Bailey Fields trying to make it happen.
Simon.
And a nice throw over to Rebecca DuPont, and that goes through. Becca takes contact from Kaufman, and I could have sworn Kaufman just trying to strip Becca.
I'm not entirely sure. I think he tried to push it back through the wall as if it didn't go through, but clearly went through.
Yeah, won that one. We talked about Becca when she was in the box earlier about how valuable she is as a female chaser, knowing exactly where to be the weakest point of the defense at any given point, and we saw an example of that as they're ready to go to work. Nathan Digman trying to make this one count. A quick pass as he was beat, but anticipation from Sam Hemowitz will end up with him getting picked off. And you have to imagine, because he didn't play in game one, he's well rested. One of the few guys for the Outlaws well rested, and one of the few guys on the pitch that's feeling pretty good. Yeah, and another important part about these female seekers is you want to, you have a lot of these teams, their star seekers, one of their star goal scorers. Right. So when he gets to keep playing his chaser game, you're going to keep scoring those points. Exactly. And that's bad news for the Intensity here, who amazing effort from them so far in this tournament. After playing 3 games versus the League City Legends to advance on to the Final Four, going up against the LA Guardians, playing it close to the vest, and not wavering. Pretty clutch, I would imagine. First game went 100-80 in favor of them, so down in quaffle points, and like they're trying to do here, trying to get this into a snitch range game, and a steal! Oh! And a slip from Kaufman. Cleats couldn't catch the ground, and now he's on the attack with less than 5 minutes to go until the MLQ championship could very well be over. Kaufman trying to use everything that he's got to finish this one. A double pump and a finish. 140-90. Yeah, and it's now and a snipe across pitch from Ryan Naraki on Anthony Vota, who we haven't seen much of in this game. No, this has mainly been the Hoffman show, but interested to see what he can do. And another opportunity for the Intensity late in this game. Although it may be too late in this game, as we are at 36-30. Whatever just asked. Subs coming in for the Indianapolis Intensity. Yeah, game time's clocking down, but a 50-point lead isn't insurmountable anymore. Indianapolis has clawed their way almost back into this game. Right, Blake Fitzgerald back up top. Vata over there, running the perimeter. Blake Fitzgerald looks like he's got his eyes on those hoops. He's going to tuck the ball to get away from a tackle, but a bludger is on the way. He'll take the beat, and now a run and slips out of his hand. That is tragic.
tragic. If they could bring this to a 40-point game, they're almost close to if they can somehow score and get a snitch pull,
right,
which
exactly.
is still very hard. At the end of the day, no one's really made. We still haven't seen the two best seekers from each team trying to catch Gabe, and that's still a major challenge.
And the Austin Outlaws seem to be very content to not make that happen.
No, Austin, with Gabe in their region, they are used to his prowess, and I think have accepted that this game is going to be a 40-minute one.
And once you get past that point, then you can really start working on some deeper strategy in terms of how to kill this clock. Martin Bermudez trying to get away from the extended hands. Some very tenacious defense preventing him from driving further down the pitch. It's Max Jolly. And I want to say he's clear on that beat.
I want to say that beat might have been after the whistle, but unclear. Got some referee discussion. Only 2.5 minutes left in this game.
Bludger has rolled off the pitch.
Oh, and it does go back to Erin Moreno.
So she's got a shot on him. And only person back for the Outlaws is going to be Becca DuPont. They still have their reset. But there is a conversation going on at the hoop line. Cole Travis, head coach for the Austin Outlaws, is going to make his way into that huddle. And then, of course, the referees, like they should, moving the huddle somewhere else.
Oh, of course, yeah. You do not want players in that huddle.
And when this tournament draw was announced, 37:46 is the pause time. But going back to what seems like forever ago, but it was only about 3 or 4 weeks ago when the tournament draw was announced. Everybody really excited about the new format for MLQ. 12 playoff spots, you got to earn them, just like in any other sport.
And I think it's a good change. I think the regular season needs to matter, and I think that's something here. So we have it back to hoops offense for blue beater number 23 for a illegal body block.
Oh, that's De La Fuente out there who got called for the body block. So
sorry, just got a quick confirmation from our ref.
De La Fuente, a beater out there who not lacking in energy and not lacking in stamina, so that makes him perfect for the beater game.
However, this
quaffle turnover.
This call does result in a quaffle turnover
because it affected play.
It does affect play.
Becca DuPont trying to cut off an intended pass to their keeper. Now they get it over to Blake Fitzgerald.
Interestingly enough, does not.
Blake looking across pitch. He's got a man on, and it looks like it's Max Jolly. He'll get it over to him. Max is going to be beat. Intensity running out of people to get the quaffle to, and now Blake Fitzgerald's just going to have to make a run at the hoops, and Martin Bermudez says, come here for a second. Arian now got his hands on the quaffle. He looks like he's about to complete a strip. He will. Just strong-manned it out of the way. Now he's going to turtle up and fall down, which, of course, is a great time-killing technique.
Only a minute and a half left, and he does not want to move.
Yep, and if that's what the Intensity want the last minute to be, then the Austin Outlaws are more than happy to make that happen. Austin using a good amount of strategy here, as most teams would be trying to end the game as soon as possible. The Outlaws electing to let the time expire, having faith in not only the experience on their team, but also the talented chasers that they have out there. But going back to what we mentioned before, the value of the regular season, earning a divisional championship buys you a first-round bye as well. Augie Monroe with a score on the front hoop. He made sure his hands escaped. He cleared the other hands in front of the quaffle and then scored.
And this game is ticking down. We are in the final minute here at the MLQ 2017 Championships, and it's looking like there is no way Austin could lose this game.
As time, like you said, continues to tick away.
You have to wonder if these teams know how close they are to the end, but we are down to the last 30 seconds.
And the Intensity still pumping hard on this one. They are still going full tilt, full effort. And
it's the spirit of the game. You gotta keep trying.
Always give 100%, maximum effort.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and that is the game. Austin Outlaws are your new 2017 MLQ champions.
and did it in the most dramatic manner possible. Won the South, broke the streak, and now winning the Cup. That's pretty impressive.
And they did not drop a game.
Not at all. Not this season. And we'll have to check the points afterwards, but I don't think anybody was even within 50 points in most of their games. So that's...
The final score is 150 Austin to 90 for Indianapolis.
And everybody going to clap it up, and the intensity after a absolutely magical run to the finals here. Taking something home for next season, something to work, something to be proud of, no doubt about that. The intensity coming out here, and like we said before, played some of the most dramatic games we see. Day one playing in a game 3 do or die situation versus the Legends, and then coming into game number 2 facing off against